Many years ago, in a small village where people knew each other's cough and could identify footsteps in the dark, there lived a community of beautiful people who valued respect more than fashion and greetings more than grammar. Into this village entered a girl named Zina Chimdi, with dark glasses bigger than common sense, dragging two boxes and filming herself from 3 angles at the same time. Zina Chimdi was not coming to greet any elders, nah, she was coming to rest small, get premium content and also remind the village that Lagos had upgraded her. Recently, her followers started asking for village content, so she thought to give it a trial. According to her, content was content, whether it came from Lekki or from the red dusty roads, as long as it could trend. In Lagos, Zina Chimdi was a full package slay queen with smooth skin, flat stomach, confidence that could power generator and captions that always started with soft life or main character energy. She did not walk, she glided. She did not sweat, she glowed. She believed the world was divided into 2 people, those who had village background and those who had escaped it. Zina Chimdi did not grow up in Lagos, but Lagos grew inside her. She left the village years ago with 1 nylon bag and a dream, only to return now with bone-straight wig, nails that clicked like keyboard buttons and sunglasses that served as an umbrella under the village sun. As the bus stopped at the village junction, she jumped down first, adjusting her wig before even greeting the driver. The driver looked at her and asked, "Madam, your load." Zina replied without looking, "Careful, this box is fragile." The driver nodded. "E no go pass wig wey dey inside now." Zina did not hear him because she was already filming. POV, you are back to the village but still fine past everybody. Her aunt ran out of the compound shouting, "Zina, my daughter, welcome, oh, welcome." Zina removed her sunglasses slowly like a celebrity arriving at a premiere night. "Auntie, good afternoon." Her aunt pulled her into a hug and said, "You are glowing." Zina smiled proudly. "It's Lagos water." Neighbors gathered immediately because village people do not need invitation. One woman touched her arm and said, "See your skin like milk." Zina replied, blushing, "It's skincare routine consistency." The woman nodded, pretending to understand. Another one asked, "My daughter, will you stay long?" Zina sighed and replied, "I don't think so. Village life is really stressful." Zina entered the compound complaining loudly, "Auntie, why is this place still hot?" Her aunt laughed. "Zina, village son no get mercy, e no dey hear grammar." Zina rolled her eyes. "In Lagos, we don't sweat like this, but it's fine. My followers like rustic suffering content." She replied, holding her phone up. Her cousin whispered, "Because you enter from AC to AC now, you can't bear our son." Zina rolled her eyes. "Do I smell jealousy?" She dropped her bags inside the room and immediately began to rearrange the space, moving chairs and sweeping corners. Not because she cared about dirt, but because background mattered. She set her phone on the bed, tested different angles and adjusted the light. She frowned. "Oh, this wall is not aesthetic." Her aunt said, "Wall is wall, Zina." Zina shrugged. It will do. Everything is content." She stepped outside to film her arrival video, walking slowly and flipping her hair while posing like a runway model as chickens crossed behind her and a goat chewed plastic in the background. She captioned it, "Village but make it aesthetic." And then she tried to post, but network was working against her. So she walked deeper into the compound with her nails clicking like warning bells. She complained loudly, "Is there no network here?" A boy replied, "Auntie, if you climb the mango tree small, you will get network." Zina hissed, "You people need development." The video finally went through. Lights began to come and her smile widened. That was when Mama Chi Chi entered the picture, literally and figuratively. Mama Chichi was an old woman who was once tall but now bent with age. Her back was curved. Her breasts were hanging freely under her loose wrapper without shame. Her skin was wrinkled, but her face was filled with honest laughter, loud like drums. She carried firewood on her head and sang as she walked into the compound. She saw Zinachimdi and smiled widely. "My fine daughter, welcome, oh." She dropped the firewood and reached out, touching Zina's arm gently. "You are shining." Zina froze small, not completely, but enough to show discomfort. She forced a smile. "Thank you, ma." Mama Chichi laughed. "City water really does wonders." Zina stepped back, wiped her arm discreetly, and whispered to her cousin, "Why is she naked like this? Why is she uncovered?" Her cousin shrugged. "That is Mama Chichi for you. She know they hide body." Zina muttered, "Ha, she should start, please." Her cousin smiled. "They said she was once a slay queen in her time. Maybe she's trying to remember her bikini days, you know." Zina coughed to stop herself from laughing. Please, it's okay. Who dashed her slay queen? I beg." Mama Chichi continued smiling unbothered. She called out again, "Come and eat later, my daughter." Zina replied politely, "I really don't like local food. It bloats." Mama Chichi nodded. "The stomach that eats life no dey bloat." Zina laughed, whatever that means. Later that afternoon, Zinachimdi decided to do a funny village clip. She positioned her phone under a mango tree, adjusted the ring light, and shouted, "Action!" She started talking to the camera. POV, you come to the village and see things that remind you why you left. Behind her, Mama Chichi bent to pick firewood. Just then, her breast began swinging freely and happily. Zinachimdi noticed and her eyes lit up like someone who just found gold. Wait, this is funny. Her cousin tried to stop her. Zina begged, "Don't do that." But Zina laughed. "Relax, humor is healing." She zoomed in, lowered her voice dramatically and said, "When gravity finally wins." Mama Chichi looked up and waved at the phone. "My daughter, come and eat." Zina laughed loudly. She's so confident for her age. She posted the video immediately and captioned it, "When gravity has finally collected its debts, please cover up Mama," crying emoji. As expected, the likes rushed in. Comments exploded and Zinachidi clapped her hands. This one will blow." Her cousin whispered, "Zina, I hope you did not post that." But Zina laughed. "It's content now. Relax. You people are too sensitive." People in the compound stopped smiling. One woman whispered, "This one is not funny, oh." Another one replied, "Don't worry now. She will learn." Mama Chichi sat down calmly, cleaned garden egg, and started chewing slowly, smiling like someone who had watched many seasons of life pass and was not surprised by another episode. Zinachimdi walked past her later and said jokingly, "Mama, you don't trend, oh." Mama looked at her. "Trend? What is that?" Zina replied, "I mean fame." Mama Chichi nodded. "I have seen it before." That answer confused Zinachimdi, but she shrugged and continued scrolling, counting the likes with excitement. That night, she slept smiling and dreaming of more content, not knowing that the village she thought she was using as crews had just opened a file on her name. Zinachimdi woke up the next morning to the sweet sound of her phone vibrating like a mosquito trapped in a net. She smiled without opening her eyes, already knowing what it meant because the content was a banger. She grabbed the phone and laughed loudly. It don't blow. Notifications were jumping with likes, comments, shares, and reposts from people she did not even know. People were tagging other meme pages and lifting the video without asking for permission. Her caption had become a joke. People were adding their own words to it. Gravity undefeated. Village gym no dey work. Age no be joke. Zina stretched on the bed satisfied. Content creation is hard work, oh, she said proudly. Her cousin peeped in and said, "Zina, people are laughing too much." Zina waved her hand and smiled. That is the goal now. She entered the compound filming again. "Good morning, village." An old man replied calmly, "Morning, my daughter." She zoomed the camera to his face, then quickly removed it. This light is not good though. Some women sat under the tree discussing something, but when Zina approached, they stopped talking. One of them greeted her, "My daughter, hope you slept well." Zina smiled. "I slept very well." The woman nodded and said, "That video yesterday, people are talking." Zina laughed. "Of course, content must talk." The woman shook her head. "Some talking no be good talking, no." Zina did not hear that part properly, or maybe she pretended not to. She checked her phone again, saw the views climbing and shouted, 200,000 views overnight. Yay! Meanwhile, Mama Chichi walked past carrying a basket of vegetables, greeting everyone as usual. "Good morning, my children." Some answered while some looked away. However, Zina Chimdi noticed something strange. Nobody was laughing today and nobody was smiling too hard. The air felt heavy, like rain that refused to fall. Mama Chichi stopped by Zina and said, "My daughter, people say I dey inside your phone." Zina laughed. "Yes, Mama, you are famous." Mama Chichi asked calmly. "Famous for what?" Zina replied, still laughing. "For being funny." Mama Chichi nodded slowly. "Oh, okay." She walked away without another word, and Zina Chimdi felt a small discomfort but shook it off. "Village people are just dramatic," she muttered. Unfortunately, later that afternoon, strange things started happening small. First, her phone began to heat up anytime she opened the app. The same app that made her happy. "Oh, this phone is too old, Jare," she complained. Then, a brand she had been chatting with about collaboration suddenly stopped replying her. She refreshed the chat again and again. Maybe it's network. At the same time, messages began to enter her inbox, but this time they were not laughing messages. They sounded more like warnings. "You shouldn't mock your elders. That woman is not your age mate. Delete that post." Zina frowned and clicked her tongue. "Internet police, abeg shift." By evening, the compound became quiet. Children stopped greeting her properly. One young girl whispered to another, "That is the auntie that laughed at Mama Chichi." Zina felt irritated and she complained to her aunt. "These people are behaving strangely." Her aunt replied carefully, "You embarrassed an elder. What do you expect?" Zina scoffed. "It was just a joke now." Her aunt sighed. Some jokes wound deeper than knife. That night, Zina Chimdi tried to go live, but the comments were no longer sweet. "Apologize now. That woman could be your future. You are rude." Left with no choice, she ended the live angrily, grumbling, "People are too sensitive. As she lay on the bed scrolling angrily, a message came through from her cousin. "Mama Chichi said you should come and see her tomorrow." Zina laughed loudly. "For what now?" Well, she later replied with a voice note. "Tell her I will come." She looked at the phone and smirked. "Okay now, tomorrow will be for another content again." Zina Chimdi did not plan to go and see Mama Chichi early, but that morning, sleep refused to stay with her because the village felt too quiet, such that she could hear her own thoughts too clearly. She lay on the bed, scrolling through her phone and reading comments that no longer made her laugh. Some were angry, some were disappointed, and some were lectures. She hissed, turned the phone face down and said out loud, "People should just relax. It's not that serious." Her cousin passed by and asked, "You are really going to Mama Chichi's house, Abi?" Zina replied while fixing her wig. "Of course now. Let me hear what she wants to say." Her cousin hesitated. "That woman is not ordinary." Zina laughed. "I know, right? All village people are extraordinary in stories." She dressed down a bit in a simple gown, flat slippers, and then walked towards Mama Chichi's compound, expecting her to be crying or angry in a small mud house. But instead, she stopped short at the entrance because the compound was neat. It was swept clean with flowers arranged. water drum covered and goats tied properly. Nothing was scattered or kept carelessly. It did not even match the image in her head at all. The house was not a mud house. Mama Chichi sat on a wooden chair in her sitting room, reading an old book, wearing the same loose wrapper with her chest still free, looking calmly like someone waiting for a guest. She smiled immediately she saw Zina. "My daughter, you came." Zina nodded awkwardly. "Yes, Mama, you sent for me." Mama Chichi pointed to a stool. "Sit down." Zina sat stiffly, looking around until her eyes landed on some framed photographs hanging on the wall. They were black and white pictures of a young, tall, confident, beautiful woman walking on a runway, holding trophies and shaking hands with important-looking people. Zina Chimdi leaned forward, confused. "Mama, who is this?" Mama Chichi smiled. "That was me." Zina laughed instinctively, then stopped laughing because Mama Chichi's face did not change. "You?" Zina asked slowly. "Yes," Mama Chichi replied. She stood up, walked to the wall, brought down a picture and placed it on Zina's lap. That was Lagos 1986. Zina swallowed hard. The woman in the picture was stunning. She was slim, proud and glowing. She was everything social media worships today. She flipped another picture and saw magazine covers of fashion shows, interviews and awards. Zina's throat dried. "But Mama," she whispered. Mama Chichi interrupted her. "This body you laughed at fed 6 siblings, paid school fees, built this house and carried many dreams." Zina felt heat rise to her face. "I didn't know," she muttered. Mama Chichi smiled. "That is the problem with laughing. You always don't know." She sat back down and continued. "I was once everywhere. People praised my body like a miracle. Men fought over me. Women envied me. Brands chased me. Then age came slowly like nightfall and people stopped looking at me. But I did not disappear. I just returned home." Zina shifted uncomfortably. I didn't mean to insult you, Mama." Mama Chichi nodded. "I know you were just chasing laughter, not understanding." Then she asked a question that shocked Zina. "You applied for the Blossom Women Grant, right?" Zina's eyes widened. "Yes, how did you know?" Mama Chichi smiled. "I found it secretly." Zina's heart dropped. Mama Chichi continued. "That grant supports young women's businesses. I asked my granddaughter in Lagos to help review applications. She made mention of a girl with strong ambition and good vision who wanted to start a fashion line." Zina's breathing became shallow. "That is me," she whispered. Mama Chichi looked at her seriously. "I was considering helping you." Silence swallowed the compound. Zina Chimdi could not lift her head. "I am sorry, Mama," she finally said in tears. Mama Chichi sighed. "Sorry is not the hardest part." She stood up again, went inside and returned with a small envelope. She placed it on the table but did not push it towards Zina. "This is not money," she said. "It is withdrawal." Zina looked up confused. "Withdrawal from what?" "From helping you," Mama Chichi replied calmly. Zina's chest tightened. "Because of the video?" Mama Chichi shook her head. "Because it showed who you are when you think nobody important is watching." Zina nodded slowly as shame settled properly now on her shoulders. Mama Chichi softened her voice. "Remove that post and apologize properly, not for the internet but for yourself." Zina stood up trembling. "I will." Zina Chimdi did not even reach her aunt's compound before her phone began to misbehave, vibrating non-stop as if it was angry at her. She stopped under a tree, checked the screen and felt her stomach drop because it was not just the comments anymore. Other important people were now distancing themselves and using her as a scapegoat. People were no longer tagging friends for fun. They were tagging her for accountability. Someone had stitched the video with old photographs of Mama Chichi when she was young, tall and confident, walking runways, posing with designers and holding trophies. The caption read, "Respect respect your elders and remember that your future is waiting for you. The post was spreading faster than the original mockery video. Zina whispered, "Who did this?" By the time she got home, her aunt was already holding her phone. "Zina, have you seen this?" Zina nodded weakly. "They are dragging me." Her aunt shook her head. "No, they are correcting you." Zina tried to post an explanation. She typed, deleted and typed again, but nothing sounded right to her. Apology felt forced and excuse felt stupid. But still, silence was dangerous and worse, so she finally posted something. "I meant no harm. It was just content." But the internet laughed harder. "Content is not cruelty," they said. "Delete that post." "Apologize without explanation," someone texted. Unfortunately, the brands she had been chatting with went quiet. One even sent a polite message saying, "We are reviewing our values." Her followers count began to drop like water leaking from a net. In the village, people stopped greeting her. Children talked about her. Women avoided her eyes. Even the boys who once helped her carry boxes now looked away. She heard one woman say she laughed at someone who lived longer than her. Zina locked herself in the room that afternoon, staring at her reflection for a long time. She removed her wig, sat on the bed and cried quietly in confusion and regret, like someone realizing that confidence without sense is embarrassment waiting patiently. That evening, she went back to Mama Chichi's house. She knelt down properly this time and said, "Mama, I am sorry." Mama Chichi looked at her gently. "I know." Zina added, "I deleted the post." Mama Chichi nodded. "That is for you, not for me." Zina asked remorsefully, "Will people forgive me?" Mama Chichi smiled. "People forget faster than they forgive, but time will finish the work." The next morning, Zina Chimdi packed her bags earlier than planned. She could not stay in a place where silence felt like judgment. She hugged her aunt briefly, avoided neighbors' eyes and left the village without filming her exit. On the bus back to Lagos, she watched her followers count drop slowly and, for the first time, she did not know what to post. She rested her head against the window and whispered to herself, "Not everything is content." By the time she reached the city, Zina Chimdi was no longer trending. Lagos welcomed her the same way it always did, with noise, bills, traffic, and indifference. Nobody cared that she had trended for the wrong reason. Nobody asked how she felt. Lagos only asked what she could offer, and for the first time, Zina Chimdi did not know the answer. She stayed indoors for days, scrolling without posting and watching other girls dance, pose, laugh and trend, while her own page felt like a house after visitors had left quietly. It was embarrassing and full of reminders. Her phone no longer vibrated with work deals. Brands did not call. Group chats went silent, and friends who once sent laughing emojis now sent advice or nothing at all. One girl even texted her, "You should have just ignored the village people." Zina read it and did not reply because she herself knew that ignoring would have prevented the problem. She tried to bounce back by posting old pictures and motivational quotes with filtered smiles, but the comments were lukewarm. There was low engagement. People had moved on because the internet forgives slowly and forgets selectively. Now, Zina Chimdi was learning that fame is a visitor, not even a tenant. One afternoon, she received an email she had been expecting and fearing at the same time. "We regret to inform you that your application for the Blossom Women Grant has been unsuccessful." She stared at the screen for a long time, then laughed, not because it was funny, but because it made sense. She remembered Mama Chichi's calm voice saying, "This is withdrawal." And that was when she understood that karma does not always slap. Sometimes it simply steps back and watches you struggle with what you thought you deserved. After struggling to keep up for some time, Zina Chimdi sold some of her clothes, wigs and bags to survive. She reduced her lifestyle and moved to a smaller apartment where she stopped chasing aesthetics and started chasing stability. She took a regular job for the first time in years. Every morning, she would be up before the sun and stand at the junction to get a bus at that rush hour. This lifestyle also taught her humility in small doses. Luckily for her, people at work did not know her online persona. She was just Zina to them, the girl who tried and failed and tried again, and that anonymity healed her slowly. Months later, she returned to the village unannounced, dressed in a simple gown and sandals. She went straight to Mama Chichi's compound, knelt down and greeted her properly. She brought gifts that were not for content. Mama Chichi welcomed her warmly. "You've changed," Zina replied honestly. "I had no choice. I was forced to." Mama Chichi laughed. "Life is a good teacher when pride is absent. You are learning well. If you still want to go on with your fashion business, I'll put in a word for you with my granddaughter." Zina chimed in, nodded with tears in her eyes, and thanked Mama Chichi for the opportunity to learn. She would never forget the lesson in her life, as she has seen that beauty fades, bodies change, fame expires, but respect compounds. So now she knew better to chase after what is more valuable. Thank you for watching the story. Kindly share your thoughts about the story with me in the comment section. What lesson did you learn from the story? Kindly share the story out with your loved ones and give the story a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring another story your way. Bye.